Now today we will be talking about the bootstrap effect. Right? You must have heard about this whenever we talk about M&A transactions. Right? We often talk about the bootstrapping. That what is bootstrapping? Often students have this problem they face about what is bootstrapping and what is the bootstrap effect. So today we will be discussing this in detail with a very comprehensive example. Now the bootstrap effect or bootstrap earnings occurs when a company's EPS increases as a result of merger transaction, not due to economic benefits of the business. Right? Now we are talking when the acquirer, right? For example, if A is acquiring B, so B is what? B is the target, and A is what? A is the acquirer. So what is bootstrapping? Bootstrapping is basically when the shares of the acquirer trade at a higher when the shares of A after acquiring B, the target, when they will trade at a higher P to E ratio than the shares of the target, first indication, and the other is the acquired P does not fall. Right? So acquires P, it does not fall. It doesn't fall after the merger. So we will be looking this in detail. So our example is first things first. If we look at the stock price is given, the EPS is given. First thing to note, the EPS of the acquirer is greater than the EPS of the target. Similarly, the PE is greater. Okay, the shares are given 100,000 multiplied by 110. So we are getting the market value of equity over here. These are the earnings. Now what we are talking about, the first things first. First things, that how many shares A issue to acquire or capture B. Okay, so how we will be calculating this? It's pretty simple. For example, the market value. What is the total market value? Total market value of B, that is the target. First of all, you have to find this. Is it given to us in this question? Yes, it is. It is given. It is 5,500,000. So 5,500,000 divided by the share price of A, the acquirer. So you can write the formula, right? So market value of target divided by share price of acquirer, that is equivalent to what? 110. So this is equivalent to 50,000 shares. So how many shares will A have to issue? A have to issue 50,000 shares. Now what is the post-merger EPS for the combined entity? Right, post-merger EPS. Okay, for the post-merger EPS, what we will be doing? What is the total income? The total income, since A has acquired B, so the income is 500,000 plus 305,000. So total income is 500,000 plus 305,000. This is the combined income divided by total outstanding shares. Right? Now this is the trick part. The shares of the acquirer were 100,000, and how many additional shares are issued? 50,000 shares are issued. So it becomes 150. So the value per EPS is equals to $5.37. Now we will be looking at the PE. Okay, so we will be looking at the PE. So we will be looking at, for example, the EPS of the combined entity is what? That is the main thing that we have to consider. Right? Now important thing is the company A's stock price post merger would remain at, so company A's stock price would remain at what? Will remain the same, will remain at $110. This is the trick part. The PE ratio would adjust to reflect the two companies' contribution to the earnings of the combined entity. So what will be the adjusted, now post merger adjusted PE ratio? So adjusted PE ratio would be share price divided by EPS, right? So if the share price is same 110, now the EPS is what? 5.37. That is equivalent to what? This is equivalent to 20.5. This is the EPS. Okay, so it means what? It means that when there are no expected gains from a merger, such as share price increases are not seen, the investors recognize that the increase in the acquirer's EPS is purely due to the bootstrapping effect, and therefore adjust the acquirer's PE downwards. Okay, so what happens? That when the investors become aware that this is due to purely that the increase in EPS. What was the EPS before? Yes, if we look at it, the EPS earlier was 5 and now the EPS has increased. Now the EPS has increased to 5.37. So this increase in EPS is purely due to what? Bootstrapping effect. And investors, when knowing this, they will do what? They will basically automatically put the PE downwards. Okay, so why we go for bootstrapping, etc. First of all, for merger transactions, the main benefit is managers' personal incentives. Basically, manager compensation may be tied to factors such as company size, which may encourage them to take mergers to increase the size of the firm. So, increasing the size of the firm for more benefits. Managers may also seek to increase company to feed their egos to build prestige. Next is tax considerations. Next is unlocking hidden value. This is very important. These are like the core competencies. Unlocking hidden values of the company. So in instances where a company is performing suboptimally, an acquirer may purchase it to unlock value through better management, through reorganization, or by creating synergies. So better management, reorganization, and creating synergies. We will be talking about a lot in synergies in this M&A transactions. This is one of the most important things, right? Next thing is cross-border motivations. We can also go for cross-border motivations. What are cross-border motivations? The first things first is to exploit market imperfections. Exploit market imperfections. Then transfer of technology. Then we have overcome adverse government policy. Then we have product differentiation. And then we have following large clients. So these are the incentives. These are the reasons why a company goes for bootstrapping. I hope that this example satisfies you, that it really helps you, right? First things first, this example is given what you have to call, you have to first of all find the total MV of B and then divide it by the SP of the acquirer. Then you have to find the post merger EPS, that is the total income divided by total shares outstanding. Okay, and then this is the very reason that then this is the whole formula that your EPS increases and then the adjustments can be made. This is the end of this session.